Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome back. It is me, BrittReacts, and let's just start here, okay? This reaction comes via a suggestion from one of my longtime Patreon members. Shout out to you, Bill. Bill sent this to me, and he said my cousin, Mr. L. Boyd, if you don't know now, you know, his reaction to this popped up on Bill's feed. And Bill said he instantly thought or wondered what my reaction would be. And so I'm going to give you my reaction right now. I've never heard of this. I've never seen my cousin's reaction either. So maybe we'll watch this and then react to his some other time. This is called If I Were the Devil, Paul Harvey. And obviously I already have it pulled up because we're going to jump right into it. Oh. As soon as I can press play. There we go.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil. If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree.
All right. Okay. All right. I want to go back because it says a warning from 1965. So obviously this is something that was recorded in 1965 that seems to perhaps foreshadow or predict what will be happening in the future. And for us, that is present day right now. I feel like I'm going to have to do a lot of stopping and pausing and critical thinking because that's just the way my brain works. Okay, so here's some other context for those that don't know. I am a Christian. I do not hide that. I am very serious about my faith. I am very strong in my faith, and there's really not much you can do to change that or shake that. So comment if you want, but it ain't gonna help. My cousin, Mr. L. Boyd, is a atheist. He'll tell you that. He doesn't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. We don't have a problem with each other. We respect each other's beliefs or lack thereof. My cousin is also one of the most, if not the most educated people I know. He does his due diligence and his research and everything he does before he ever opens his mouth about anything. I trust him probably more than I trust 95% of the people in my life. I seek his advice and his wisdom and many, many things. And we just don't happen to relate on our belief in faith. I'm not someone that subscribes to religion. I grew up super religious in a super religious, strict religious upbringing. I have diverted from that. But I do believe in Jesus. I love God, and my life is anchored in that. So I just want to preface that for anyone who clicked on this not knowing who I was or my relationship to Mr. L. Boyd. So I'm going to start this over, and I'm going to, like, now that I kind of understand the direction, I'm going to give it some deep, try to be as thoughtful as I can while I react to this for the first time.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil. If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness.
Check, that's happening.
And I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population.
Okay, and if I would have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population. Okay.
But I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take
The ripest apple on the tree. The two E's.
So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve. Do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth.
Oh. I begin with a campaign of whispers.
With a campaign of whispers.
With the wisdom of a serpent. We all know in the Bible, the devil is referred to as a serpent many, many times. I would whisper to you, and I'd whisper, as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. And if you look at the church now, many traditional conservative Christians will tell you they feel the church has begun to just say, though you should come as you are, maybe you shouldn't do as you please. And a lot of that is starting to, I think, come to a head. A lot of people are starting to really outwardly disagree with homosexual leadership in the church, or just being open to homosexuality in the church, and like things like that. I think this is a really, these are the type of things, in my opinion, that should be discussed in church. And it feels like the older I get, the further away we get from these really hard conversations in church, because everyone's trying to stay palatable. Everyone's trying to stay agreeable. Everyone's trying to stay non-offensive. And I'm not sure where that's left us today. But I get this and I understand this. And I do think, while yes, it is our job to love one another, love our brothers and sisters, and not judge or shame anyone, we are also to stand firm on the biblical principles that were left for us. And so I think that's where it comes to a head. It's like, well, how can you love everyone and accept everyone while also saying, but you shouldn't be doing that? What does that cause, my friends? Chaos and confusion. All right? Which who is the author of? Not God.
With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old, I would...
We won't get through this. We are not going to get through this.
A myth, I would
convince them that man created God instead of God having created man.
Convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square.
What's bad is good and what's good is square or lame. Let's talk about this really quick, because I think this is a really interesting conversation that I've seen a lot in 2025 and even before then. The whole, like, let me put some names and faces to it. Sierra is she's an international artist. She is married to one of the like biggest names in football these days, Russell Wilson, and he's a good man. He's one of the good guys. Before she dated him, she was with Future, who is a rapper from Atlanta. She has a son with him. And a lot of people make fun of Russell because he's just a good guy. Like, he's a good guy. And it's that whole good guy versus bad guy thing. Girls want bad guys. And it's like, there is no shame in being an honorable, faithful man. But society will tell you an honorable, faithful, leading man is a problem. That's lame. And you want to be a deadbeat, irresponsible, non-committal man. That is exactly what this one right here means. I would confide that what is bad is good and what is good is square. And more in the hip hop culture than in probably others, unfortunately, this sentiment is echoed, it's perpetuated, and that is what keeps the cycle going, is that in the music, in the movies, in the art, in any realm, in anything that's celebrity fame or that looks, shimmers and glitters and is gold, it's going to tell you to be a player, to spend all your money, to date multiple women and and have all these different men and date a really rich man. Don't care if you have a soul connection, as long as he's buying you Birkin bags. That's what society is going to tell you is the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do. So if you're married and you're a traditional wife, and if you are a stay-at-home mother, or you are a husband and your wife submits to you, or you know what I mean, if you're any of those positive things, you're a square. That's what that means. And that's exactly what's going on in our society. Sip on that.
And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is so up my alley. It's not even funny. I say this all the time in regards to what my belief of the MAGA movement is. And someone corrected me not too long ago and said, but Britt, you're MAGA. You want to make America great again. And I do. I don't think America is operating at its optimal level. And I wish we could get somewhere where it feels like it's great again. I am not MAGA. Do not subscribe to the MAGA movement. But I think, and I say this all the time, and I'm just using MAGA as an example, there are many political movements that follow the same thing that I'm about to say, but MAGA is just the one I think that is at the forefront for me. So save your tears. I don't want them here, okay? So many people have so much faith in these politicians, aka Washington. You're putting all of your trust, all of your faith, all of your belief in these men, and I mean men by like flesh, these human beings who are flawed, who lie, who steal, make all kinds of mistakes, because that's what human beings do. Instead of anchoring to something, and I say this all the time, I don't care. I'm not telling you to anchor it to God if that's not what you want to do or believe. That you and I will answer to that in the afterlife. But anchor to something that is bigger than these politicians who will flip and flop wherever the polls tell them to. And so our Father, which art in Washington, not in heaven, in Washington. So many of us are worshiping, idolizing, only listening to, following. And some of y'all will follow these people, these men, these women off a cliff. It's wild to me. I say it all of the time. And again, it's not just MAGA. It's just concerning. I think even Gen Z, right? They fall anything that's for the people. It's just like they don't even know what they're following. They're just following it because everybody else is following it. This is a good one.
And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with...
Hey, Siri, what does lurid mean?
As a noun.
Nope, I didn't say Lord. Hey, Siri, what does LURID mean?
Lurid means very vivid in color, especially so as to create an unpleasantly harsh or unnatural effect.
Got it. Y'all know I love Siri. I'm not afraid to say I don't know what a word means.
Literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves.
Preach, preacher. This is wild, y'all. This is wild that a man in 1965 sat down and said this. This one right here is it. This should have been the thumbnail for this video. Families at war with themselves. The divorce rate. The nuclear family, I think about my own family and how many of us can't stand each other. Churches at war with themselves. Babe, let's not even get started with the denomination war and the pastors who are continuously standing in front of the pulpit whilst being the biggest sinners in the building. The nations that are at war. Hello? 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 Hello?
Until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames.
Oh. Shu put out a video I didn't even know. Y'all are watching me realize that ship up. And it's our man. Okay, I'm sorry. I paused it.
I'd have
And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. It's like the only thing that matters nowadays is ratings and views, right? It's the only thing that keeps things on the air.
Mesmerizing media fanning the flames.
Who is this man?
If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within
And bulletproof guns.
have to have
I mean,
drug sniffing
vests, sorry.
dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress.
Y'all want to talk about it or?
Evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted.
There's not enough time. There's not enough time. There's not enough time.
Bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who...
Okay. If I were the devil, I would take from those who have, and I would give to those who wanted. Until I had killed the incentive of ambitious. I don't know when my cousin reacted to this. I feel like now I have to go back and watch his reaction, whether it's with you guys or not. And I say that to say, I wonder when he reacted to it, where we were with DEI and stuff like that, because this is what this reminds me of.
If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give. And
even the current, the SNAP benefits, the food stamps. Someone asked me the other day in my comments, like, how I felt about it. And I mean, I feel like a majority of the people, like, off the internet. So many of y'all think that it's either here or here because of the internet. But in real life, I feel like most people feel like it's really sad, because there are people in our nation who need and depend on that money and assistance. And then there are people who are abusing it. And as a single mother, at one point in my life, who fully depended on my SNAP benefits, my WIC benefits, and Medicaid for my daughter, my heart is broken for the women who are trying to have the system help them get out. And that's, look at me. I am a product of, first of all, a single mother who worked tooth and nail. She had every possible, she worked her butt off to make sure that I just think my mom worked really hard to make sure that we didn't suffer because we were raised by a single mother. And the cycle repeated itself. I became a single mother, and I worked so hard to make sure I could get off of that government assistance. I used that government assistance to help me get ahead, meaning I wasn't having to put that money towards groceries and, medical bills and those type of things. So I was helping push myself forward and out of the system by putting that money into places that will help me save and grow. And that's what it should be in place, where it's not for you to be on it forever and depend on it forever and to sell it to other people and barter it with other people. That's not what it's meant for. But I did absolutely use government assistance, and then stopped using government assistance. I actually had them take me off the assistance. Well, one, it was illegal because I had started to make too much money. But I get this. And I get, even the thing with the DEI, it's like, if you just start handing things to people because of their gender or their race, then people don't feel like they have to work hard for things. That is the argument when you have people who are pro DEI and against DEI. And it's like, you don't want people to be racist or look at you for your race, but you want to be able to get ahead for your race because the race has been undermined and underserved. And so there's the argument. It's right in there. But somewhere what's going to happen is people are just going to lose ambition. Everybody wants quick fame. Everybody wants quick money. Everybody wants quick, quick, quick. No one wants to work, work, work. Whew. Okay, this is deep.
A bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned.
What'd I say?
That swinging is more fun.
What'd I say?
That what you see on TV is the way to be.
What'd I say?
And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Good day. So this was already happening when Paul made this video. This was deep. And I feel like I'm going to watch it 27 more times. I'm going to send it to friends and we're going to have hard conversations about it. Because that's what you should be doing, guys. Build community. Stretch yourself outside of what you've always known and believe is true. Because just because you believe it doesn't mean there's not room for you to grow and learn other things. Whoa. All right. I guess I got to go watch Mr. L. Boyd react to this. Let me know your thoughts. As always, if you cannot be kind, do not leave the comment. I respect all points of view, all perspectives. I just do not promote or accept unkindness. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you look like, how much money you make. I don't care. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But if you cannot keep it cute, I beg, put it on mute. Okay? Love you. Go and have the day you deserve. Bye.